Israeli strikes on an aid convoy run by the charity group World Central Kitchen killed 7 of its workers in the Gaza Strip. It has set off international outrage, underscoring the risks to humanitarian workers working in the battle zone. The aid workers were mostly foreign nationals, 1 Australian, a Pole, 3 Britons, and an American along with their Palestinian helper. The team was traveling in 2 armored vehicles which were clearly marked with the logo of the World Central Kitchen. There was also a 3rd vehicle which was following them when they came under sudden and unexpected fire. The convoy was hit despite having coordinated its movements with the Israeli military. The workers of the World Central Kitchen were leaving a warehouse in Deir al-Balah, which is in central Gaza. There, the team unloaded more than 100 tons of humanitarian food aid, which had arrived by boat just a day prior to that. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who very rarely comments on strikes on civilians, released a videotaped statement on Tuesday after this attack. In that statement, he acknowledged that the Israeli military was responsible. Israel has also launched an investigation into the circumstances surrounding these strikes. This is the single biggest instance in which foreign aid workers have been killed since the start of this war last October. This is what Netanyahu said, and I quote, "Unfortunately, there was a tragic case of our forces unintentionally hitting innocent people in the Gaza Strip. It happens in war, and we are fully examining this." Well, his statement did not exactly go down well with the countries which the victims belonged to. Israeli military said that the strikes had resulted from a misidentification. The World Central Kitchen, which was founded by the renowned chef Jose Andres, said on Tuesday that it is suspending all operations in the Gaza Strip. This is not just an attack against the WCK, it is an attack on all humanitarian organizations that are showing up in the most dire of situations where food is being used as a weapon of war. That was a statement put out by Erin Gore, who's the chief executive of the World Central Kitchen. Several nations, including the home countries of those aid workers who were killed, voiced indignation. They also demanded an explanation from Netanyahu's government. US President Joe Biden said in a statement that he was outraged and heartbroken by the deaths of these humanitarian workers from the World Central Kitchen. He also went on to say that Israel has not done enough to protect aid workers who are trying desperately to deliver help to civilians. These incidents simply should not happen, according to Joe Biden. He also went on to say that Israel has not done enough to protect civilians. His comments were echoed across the Atlantic by David Cameron, the British Foreign Secretary, who called the deaths of these workers completely unacceptable, adding that Israel must urgently explain how this happened and also make major changes to ensure the safety of aid workers. The war in Gaza has proved exceptionally dangerous for aid workers. As of the 3rd week of March, at least 196 aid workers have been killed in Gaza since the fighting began. Most of these aid workers happen to be Palestinian employees of various UN relief agencies. Israeli strikes have hit aid distribution centers, schools, even shelters run by various aid groups. Throughout the war, Palestinians and relief organizations have been repeatedly accusing Israel of bombing indiscriminately with a complete disregard for civilian casualties. That's a claim which Israel denies. The killing of aid workers from foreign countries that have backed Israel up until now could add further fuel to what has been rising anger against the way in which Israel has conducted this war. Most of these countries, whether it's the United States, Canada, Australia, countries to which these victims belonged, have backed Israel all along since this war began. That unflinching support may now be severely tested. In the aftermath of the attack on the World Central Kitchen and its workers, other aid groups have said that they are also reassessing their plans in Gaza. American Near East Refugee Aid, or ANERA, has said that they're going to be suspending operations in Gaza, given the rising threats that their aid workers are facing. A spokesperson for Israel's military, Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari, has said an investigation will be carried out by the very same military body which examines all battlefield incidents. Admiral Hagari said that Israel's forces had been working closely with the World Central Kitchen to assist them in fulfilling their mission of helping bring food as well as humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza.
We have been reviewing the incident in the highest levels to understand the circumstances of what happened and how it happened. We will be opening a probe to examine this serious incident further. This will help us reduce the risk of such an event from occurring again. The incident will be investigated in the fact-finding and assessment mechanism, an independent professional and expert body.
World Central Kitchen had recently become an important player in the delivery of aid into Gaza. They had recently organized 2 shipments of food which arrived in the territory by boat from Cyprus. This was a maritime route that was intended to supplement whatever limited aid has been delivered by either trucks or eventually, in the last few weeks, which has been airdropped from planes. The group, the World Central Kitchen, was trying to help ease what is widespread hunger in Gaza. Palestinians, particularly in the northern part of the Strip, have been fighting starvation. The United Nations estimates more than 1 million people are suffering from starvation in the Strip since the war began. Aid groups have also said, quite unambiguously, that only a ceasefire and the opening of more border crossings from Israel would allow workers to be able to deliver enough food and other essentials to Gazans. And that, they believe, is the only way to do so without putting more and more aid workers' lives at risk. But a ceasefire is something that Israel has been loath to agree to. Multiple rounds of talks, mediated by Egypt and Qatar, have not resulted in a pause in the fighting. Israel laments the fact that any halt will only further enable Hamas. At the same time, killings like that of the aid workers will only further alienate Netanyahu's government on the global stage. Something that he has decided to sacrifice at the altar of political survival.